ARK's spot Bitcoin ETF is first in line. Okay, so the SEC has the first deadline is August 13th, which is actually by the end of this week. Okay, so they will either reject it or not reject it. And if they don't reject it, that means they're going to allow it to go through, but they may say, okay, we need more time, right? But we'll see what the SEC does. If the SEC will still want to continue to be dicks, Gary could just say, no, we're shutting it down and give some BS answer. But considering what has happened so far this year, I don't think that he's just going to do that. He may just say we need to extend it, right? But the furthest he can extend this for at least ARK's Bitcoin ETF is sometime in January. The other ones from Blackrock and Van Eyck and Wisetree, those are, they could be extended until March. But this one is 2 months ahead, right? And if this one gets approved, then all of those are get approved because they're basically all the same thing. They're all using Coinbase as surveillance partner, and they're using Coinbase as a custody service, right? So basically, and they all have a ton of ETFs. They're all asset managers, right? So they know what they're doing. And if this one gets approved, then all of them will get approved. So this could be a huge cast that's coming even this week, right? But I think SEC is probably going to push this as far as they can all the way to January before they approve it. And that would be terrific because then all the other ones will get approved in March right before the halving event. So if that happens, then Adam Back's prediction of 100,000 Bitcoin by the halving event can definitely come true, right? So that's why so many people are bullish. Adam Black, who is kind of like a OG in the space, he believes that Bitcoin will reach $100,000 between now and the halving event, roughly end of March, beginning of April. He believes that it will reach $100,000. Is that unreasonable? Well, I think that's pretty bullish. I don't think there's a lot of people that think Bitcoin could break through its previous high before the halving event, right? I think most people, including myself, I think we'll get pretty close. I think we could definitely hit maybe like 50, 60, maybe even 70,000 by halving event, right? And then we shortly, a few months after that, we'll break through and go up, right? But he's very bullish, and so many others are too, including ARK, right? Kathy Wood, super bullish. Michael Saylor, of course, always bullish. Mike Novogratz, bullish. There's a lot of billionaires that are truly, really, really, really bullish on Bitcoin, right? This year, still anticipated we can hit as high as 48,000, maybe even higher than that. Some people think we could hit 60,000 or even break into a new high by the end of this year. Some people are calling 100,000 by the end of the year, right? But if we're following previous patterns of hitting this Fibonacci level of 61.8%, well, Bitcoin should hit around 48,000, right? Sometime soon, maybe before the end of the year. And then afterwards, we'll go break through 69,000, and we will continue higher. 100, 150, 200,000, I don't know. It's going to be tremendous. It's going to be looking something like this. So right now, as it's quiet and stagnant, and you know what? That's okay. It's accumulation stage, right? But there's really nothing for the bears to say. I mean, there's nothing the bears can say that can scare out the long-term holders who keep on increasing a number and keep on DCAing. I mean, it's really that simple, right? The bears can no longer do anything. They are getting exhausted. They're getting depressed, and they will be shorted or liquidated, I should say, in the future. So that's my take. Presidential elections. Now, I have never, ever correlated the presidential elections with the 4-year cycle previously, but now it's starting to become apparent. If you look at this, every time there's an election, you can see Bitcoin starts doing better, right? It starts going higher. And many people have said the same thing about just markets in general. how whenever there's election, markets tend to rally or whatever, right? But if you look at it, there is definitely a correlation. And the correlation is it happens to fall upon the years when Bitcoin has a halving event. So, Bitcoin has a halving event every 4 years. Last time I had a halving event was 2020. Okay, and that was when Bitcoin was still around 15,000, and then it shortly went up to 70,000, and then it happened again in 2016 when Bitcoin's at 710, and 2012 when Bitcoin's at 11, right? So next year is going to be a crazy, crazy year. If you look at the exchange reserves, we know exchange reserves continue to go down, right? But periodically, you get these massive, massive withdrawals, okay? And yesterday, we saw 400 million gone, withdrawn. No one knows where it's going. You could guess, I could guess, probably to some custodian service, right? Or into a self-custody wallet. But bottom line is this: someone took out $400 million worth of Bitcoin, right? Is it going to an institution? Is it going to another business? Is it going to BlackRock itself? We don't know. Periodically, you see these massive, massive withdrawals. And it's the third largest within this year. But you could see around May timeframe and July timeframe, we also saw massive withdrawals. This is happening behind the scenes. When these guys buy 400 million or 800 million or a billion, whatever it may be, it's all done behind the scenes, OTC market. So it doesn't affect Bitcoin's price. There's no immediate effect to Bitcoin's price. But overall, the supply is still diminishing. There's only so many Bitcoins to go around. You have private equity giant, okay, Carlyle Group and its founder, David Rubenstein, now going all bullish on Bitcoin, okay? Now he's paying attention. As of rest of Wall Street also, they're all paying attention. You know why? Because of Larry Fink and BlackRock. When BlackRock sets a sight on something, everyone is paying attention. So David is like, well, I should have bought it around $100 when I had a chance. But now everyone is watching because if BlackRock is involved, then of course we got to pay attention, right? That's basically what he's saying. If BlackRock is going to make a Bitcoin spot ETF, we and everyone else has to pay attention. Bitcoin is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin will lead the way. As big as Ethereum is, Bitcoin is bigger and will continue to lead the way, right? It's just a matter of having patience. Really, just a matter of having patience. Fundstrat says Bitcoin could rise to 180,000 by 2024. Not even 2025. 2024 halving, right? So that's like, what? Less than a year? Who knows? Who knows? A lot of people have made a lot of predictions, right? Some people think that we could break 100,000 by the end of the year. If that happens, can we get to 180,000 by 2024? Maybe. Are we going to see more bank collapses? That's certainly going to help. We go see some spot Bitcoin ETFs approved. Yeah, it's been rumored sometime in January, February, we're going to get spot Bitcoin ETFs. And if so, if we got billions or trillions coming in, can Bitcoin rise up to 180,000 before halving event? Possibly. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. And more we'll be adding when spot Bitcoin ETF gets approved. So today, we have another deadline. The second deadline for ARK Invest 21 shares Bitcoin ETF is 8/13, which is on a Sunday, okay? So they're not going to be making a decision on Sunday. But if they do want to approve or deny, they could do it today. So we will see what the SEC does. They ignored the first deadline, okay? So now we're at a second deadline. And if they ignore it again, we have to wait until November. But the interesting thing is you look at the remaining 7 they're all like within 1 day of each other, basically, right? ARK's is a couple months ahead. So really, this will set the tone, okay? If ARK gets their Bitcoin ETF, basically the 7 afterwards are going to get approved, right? There's just no reason why. They're from companies that are even bigger than ARK, much bigger than ARK, including BlackRock. But it'll be interesting because if ARK somehow gets denied, then those other companies still have time to refile, to maybe make little changes. For example, they all had to refile because they needed to name a surveillance partner, and they have named Coinbase a surveillance partner. Now, all of them use Coinbase as surveillance partner, right? Unless the SEC comes back and says, well, we don't trust Coinbase as a surveillance partner. Well, then maybe everyone have to look at something else, but there's no better company that can do that, right? But we'll see. Today, if somehow in a shocking move, we do get an approval from the SEC, I mean, Bitcoin's going to jump to like 50,000 today, okay, if we get approval. But I don't think we will. I think there's a slim to zero chance. And most likely, we will have to wait until January 10th before we get that answer. And I think that answer is going to be yes. All the insiders are saying it's going to be yes.